Phil D'Angelo, host of Your Best 50. Today I'm here with Casey Price of Price and Price Elder Law Attorneys. How you doing today, Casey?
Good. How are you? It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you.
Today's topic is near and dear to my heart as I'm an owner of a home care assistant. So I provide care in the home, which is one care that people can get. And then there's assisted living and a variety of other places to go. But it always comes down to the money and the legal obligations that the family has and just how everything gets structured.
Sure.
So I was wondering if you can kind of share with me a little bit of estate planning and just elder law in general.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that. We break it kind of into two different things. There's decision making, and who gets to make your decisions when the time comes that you can't make them for yourself. Because one of the first things any of us express is that I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you're a child, a toddler, one of the things that makes them so difficult is they want to do everything on their own. And we always want to make our own decisions from that point forward for ourselves. And sometimes the most important decision is the last one we make.
Right.
And that is when the time comes that we can't make our own decision, who's going to do it for us? Well, we have documents that allow you to put that in place.
Okay.
And it's where you get to name the person who you pick as the person to speak for you when the time comes you can't do it for yourself. So for instance, you have a power of attorney.
Right.
And in that document you appoint an agent. And the agent stands in your shoes and acts on your behalf in your business interests, your financial interests, if you can't do it for yourself. You have an advance directive with healthcare proxy. That's when you appoint a person to manage your final medical affairs if you can't do it for yourself. And then finally you have your will, where you appoint your executor and they manage your estate when you're gone. So putting people in place to manage your affairs while you're alive or after you've passed away, that's the final decision, and it's the most important decision. Because rather than having a court do it or somebody else make that decision for you, who's going to do it, you get to do it yourself. And if you take those steps in that action, you can be a lot happier in the end because the right person is doing things for you, the person you would have wanted.
Right, exactly. Now, I would assume that it could be the same person for all. It could be, some families have a nurse in the family, so they like the medical decisions to go that way. And then there's the special child, or the child they really have that affection to that they get. Or sometimes it's even just a friend of the family that they'll refer. Any real guidelines, or is it really just based on comfortability or knowledge?
Yeah, there's no right person, you just have to pick the right person.
Okay.
So what do I mean? Well, let's go to the nurse for a second. Most people think, well, it's my healthcare proxy, it's medical decisions. I have a person in the family who's involved in medicine. Well, that may be the right person, but it may not be. So, for instance, if you would choose one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and your healthcare proxy might choose something that's different, regardless of what they do for a living, that might not be the right person. Who is it that thinks like you? Who is it that would respect your decisions if they ever needed to make them for you? That would be the appropriate person. Sometimes it's a child, sometimes it isn't. Like you said, it might be a friend, it might be a trusted advisor.
Mm-hmm.
But, you just have to think it through. And if I couldn't do it for myself, who would I trust to do it for me? Who would do the right thing?
I understand. So you want someone to follow in your thought process and respect your wishes and just align themselves with you in that way and carry out your final thoughts.
That's right, because they step in your shoes. If you wouldn't do something, you wouldn't want your agent to do what you wouldn't do. That's a lot of negatives, I know.
Sure.
It might be confusing, but I think you get it. If you would want something done, make sure you put somebody in place who would do that for you, make those decisions in keeping with that line of thinking.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. I was reading on your LinkedIn profile. There's an approach to the price and price method. I mean, basically, you're looking at the best in care, the best place, and the best time, and creating a timeline of events essentially for the family. And you're trying to get your elder care manager and your advocates all set up. So a person's home care or health care goes. It may start at home. You may have a stroke.
Right.
And then the ball starts to roll. How much can I do? Will rehab be enough? Can I come home? If I come home, do I have to change my house at all to stay here? Is it better to go somewhere else? Should I even be looking at assisted living facilities while I'm 55, 60, just to get a feel for what's out there while I'm still healthy? Are any of these the kind of concepts that people should consider along the way?
Absolutely. And so the first thing to consider is quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where will the quality of life be highest? So when something occurs, and somebody wants to come home, how do we make that happen and give them the highest possible quality of life? The hard thing is when somebody tries to force you into a facility, and you're in the hospital, mom had a stroke, the doctor says she can't go home. Well, who says she can't go home?
Right.
Why can't we put a plan in place and bring her home with care and with supports and with modifications that allow us to give her the highest quality of life in her home where she wants to be? There's always a tool available. See, there's an elder care subculture. It's out there, right?
Yeah.
And most people don't know it exists. We know it exists.
Yes.
And once you hit that, there's resources that can help with everything. So there's nothing you can't do if you find the right professional and the right tools. So depending on what you want, first you figure out what's the appropriate care plan. See, we don't let the money tail wag the dog.
Right.
Let's put the care plan together and then fill in the dollars. Do we have enough money to do what we want to do? Right?
Your optimum plan.
Absolutely. And if we don't, then we have to back off a little bit and find the most optimum. It may not be the optimum, but what is the best plan given the circumstances that provides the highest quality of life? And that's where we start the planning process.
Okay, and I would assume that Price and Price doesn't do this just by yourselves. There'd be other advocates that you might get involved, like a geriatric care manager or someone to that effect.
Well, at Price and Price, we have our own geriatric care manager
Oh,
on
good.
staff, because a lot of people will come in and they will use that the dollar tail wagging the dog.
Right.
Oh, we have X amount of dollars. What do we do for mom? And we say, no, let's not start there. What do we want to do for mom? How much money do we have? That's the right order. We put the care plan in place, and then we try and build around that. So yes, you have geriatric care managers. What do? They help you create the plan that you're going to implement to give the highest quality of life. So what does mom want? The care manager would listen and then find the tools to help get mom what she wants. Can you afford it? That's where I come in. I help you look at your dollars and figure out whether we're going to stretch your money, try and make it last as long as possible, or whether we're going to end up spending your money and ultimately looking at a program like Medicaid to help fill in the gaps when the money runs out.
Makes sense. So you're just trying to plan out when the different insurances are going to take over for you based on essentially the amount of money and the type of care you're trying to get with the money you have on hand at this point, and or assets that you have access to, be it life insurance or your home, your pension. There's so many different places, but getting that money is not the easiest thing either.
That's right. So you're absolutely right. You look at the cost, you look at the income coming in each month, and then you look at the shortfall, if there is any, and calculate how long will the money you have, your assets, last to enable you to pay for the care that you want in the place you want to have it.
Oh, that's wonderful, Casey. My producer is just pointing to me that I have to take a break. So after the break, Casey and I are going to discuss a little bit more about elder law and care for seniors.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facials, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, so 25 years. I've been doing this now. That's good though. Family businesses. Good. Hi, welcome back. I'm Phil D'Angelo, Care Manager at Home Care Assistance, and today I'm speaking with Casey Price from Price and Price Law, Elder Law in Haddonfield. And Casey and I were just starting to touch on some interesting parts of home care and care for individuals. Basically, when do you start planning? Is there a point in time? Is it ever too late even? How do you get through this process? I mean, people are planning for retirement, it seems like as soon as they open up their 401k.
Right. Well, and they are, right? 401k that's the whole point. So we're starting planning when we're young, looking to retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And we're accumulating assets. Now, the thing we want to make sure of is how do we protect them? Because everybody looks to the end. When I die, I want to leave a legacy for my loved ones.
Sure.
But what happens if while we're alive, we need care that costs us all that money, or could cost us all of it, or a large portion of it? Well, how do we protect against that? And that's one of the things we do as elder law attorneys. We engage in something called Medicaid planning, or long-term care planning, or asset protection planning. They all kind of mean the same thing.
Right.
Our goal is that when the time comes that you pass away, you have your legacy left to leave to your children and your heirs. Now, what do we do? When is the right time? Well, that's the question I can't answer. When is the right time? You know, people will come in and we'll talk about it. And well, what's the best way to plan to protect from the cost of long-term care? The best way, and mainly one of the only ways, is to divest yourself of money. Or in other words, give it away.
Okay.
Now the thing is, most people don't want to give their money away.
Sure, I run into that a lot.
Absolutely. They want to hold their money as long as they can, and I totally agree. I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So when the time is right, you're comfortable giving money away. Most of the time, that's because of a transition, either a diagnosis. I've been diagnosed with dementia, and I know that the future may require me to need long-term care of some
Right.
sort, whether in home or in a community.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind giving money away because I see where I'm headed,
And your awareness is there.
and your awareness is there. Or you may have dementia and may not be aware of what's going on, and the kids who have been helping you may be stepping in and saying, you know, we want to try and help mom protect some of her money so that it's there in the end. Now, let's talk for a second real fast about what you do with the money that you protect, because I've jumped it right across something. I've said we're going to protect it for your heirs, for your children,
Right.
so when you pass away, it's there. But what about while you're alive? What about if you go on Medicaid or some other benefit program? If there's money in the hands of your children that's been protected, that's been shielded, it can be used to increase your quality of life. See, we keep circling back to quality of life.
Exactly.
While you're alive, most children are going to spend your money on you again.
Sure.
If there's any way it can be used to help you. So go to somebody in a long-term care center, a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they benefit from a home health aide
Right.
coming in a couple hours 3 times a week, just for companionship, right? They need a little extra help in doing activities. Now they have their own aide to help them. Well, that's a great use of money. You're getting Medicaid to pay for care, and you're using some of the funds you've saved to augment that care and increase it to raise the quality of life.
Right, because when you're in those facilities, while you may have some friends, you're alone a lot. So that having that caregiver there as a companion helps bond and create a friendship and improves the quality of life again, because that sense of engagement means something to their quality of life.
Absolutely. So if they struggle with the activities and the crafts and other things that they're doing in the long-term care center, their personal aide can assist them.
Right.
So there's great things that we can do with money that we're protecting. So mom may have dementia. The kids may come in and sit across from us and say, we want to help mom protect some of her money. We see she's going to need long-term care in the very near future. We're getting to the point where we can't continue to help her. We need professional assistance.
Mhm.
So let's try and protect some.
Right.
You know, so these are great times to do it. Now, what happens? Mom has just had her stroke. She's going into long-term care. She's got a couple $100,000 left. Can we protect money then? Most people think we can't. It's too late at that point. But the answer is there are still things we can do. There are still strategies we can employ that allow us to protect some of the money.
Sure.
We're not going to protect all of it, and we never are most of the time.
Right.
But we can protect some, and some's a lot better than none. The important thing is you don't use these self-limiting ideas. Oh, mom's in a nursing home, there's nothing we can do now. No, most of the time there is something we can do. Go ask the question. Go meet with the elder law attorney. Go meet with the elder care professional and find out if there's something you can do. Because most of the time, rule of thumb, it's never too late.
Right. Now, when you speak of, some people when they think of attorney, they think of fees and just, how do I fit in that bucket? You know, I'm doing my best to save what little we have, and it's going out in every direction, and they're afraid to engage. And I tell them it's the most important thing they can do at this point, because they're the most knowledgeable resource. That and the geriatric care managers, they know, they've done this hundreds or thousands of times in some cases, and they really know who can benefit and how to benefit them. So it's an excellent point for them to just understand that your knowledge is worth gold.
Well, I'll tell you what, when can you pay fees and still have it be free? Right? How's that for a question? When can
Really?
you pay money and still have it not cost anything? Well, let's think about something for a second. If somebody goes into a long-term care center, a nursing home,
Okay.
they're going to spend money down. What does that mean? That means they're going to spend their money till they don't have any more,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to go on Medicaid.
Right.
Well, let's say they have enough money to spend for 8 months. Let's say they pay an attorney to assist them with a Medicaid application. So now instead of spending 8 months of money on the long-term care center and 0 on the attorney, they spend 7 months on the long-term care center and 1 month's worth of money on the attorney for help.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to end up on Medicaid either way.
Right.
They're not going to be penalized for getting the help of an attorney. So the attorney really was free because you're spending all that money one way or the other. You can spend some on the attorney or none on the attorney, but you're going to run out of funds either way. Therefore, it's really like it's free.
It's free, and now you got free knowledge and someone on your team and on your behalf. You're no longer being dictated to how this is going to operate for your loved one. You now have someone on your team advising
Absolutely.
you where this goes.
And we talked about an attorney because, of course, it's self-serving. But you can spend that same money on the attorney, on home health for
Aides.
while you're in the community, on a geriatric care manager, on pretty much anything you might need, as long as it's value for your loved one who's in the nursing home.
Right.
As long as they're receiving fair market value in return. They can't pay their child for love and affection.
No.
That doesn't fly.
Mm-hmm.
But if they pay a professional for help and assistance and services provided, then they can spend money on those professionals, and it's like it's free.
That's terrific. Yeah, it's so important to just understand the process. And so many of us just turn a blind eye to it or have these fixed beliefs about how this works. So getting the education is the best possible situation to have for someone.
Well, let's talk about a different scenario real quick.
What's that?
And it's one I think that's near and dear to your heart, and it's something we see all the time. People will come to us and they're afraid to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
So mom may be home and she may be somewhat compromised, right? But the family says, we don't want to spend the funds. Well, I guess we're going to have to hold
Yeah,
this.
we're going to have to hold this again.
Absolutely.
But we'll get into how the family can spend the funds once we're understanding the situation. Again, Phil D'Angelo with Casey Price. Be right back. This is good.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum.
Place to go in and out. Hi, welcome back. I'm Phil D'Angelo from Home Care Assistance and today's host. I've been having a nice conversation today with Casey Price of Price and Price, and we were just getting ready to start discussing about spending money and when you actually will start paying for care in home and moving forward with that money and the benefits to when it makes sense to spend this money instead of holding on to it to the very end and then maybe watching it poof in one shot.
Yeah, absolutely. See, we have a lot of clients that'll come in and they'll be afraid to spend money. You know, they come to me as the lawyer and the person who tries to help them protect their money and counsel them on money, and they'll admit, I'm afraid. Look, we don't have a lot of money. We don't want to spend it. We're going to do our best to make do. And the conversation that we have is bring in care, spend a little bit of money, because it is a little bit of money compared to the cost of nursing care.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you can spend money, keep mom at home. You spend a little, you save a lot. Right? You keep her home, spend the money, avoid the nursing home, which can be 2, 3, 4 times as much as the home care that you would be able to spend on and keep her home.
Right, and I think so often with the family, you want to be in your home. You spent your whole life savings, earnings, building it. All your memories are here. Over 2/3 of individuals 65 and older, that's where they want to take their last breath if at all possible. And if they're going to transition to a home, you want to go slowly if you can. So bringing care into the home gets them used to working with individuals and receiving care even. Because some people have that dignity issue where they don't really like to count on anyone to do anything for them other than their daughter or their son. So when they start getting comfortable with that, then you could, if you have to move from the home to the home care or from home care to a facility, you could even bring your caregiver along.
Right.
In some cases,
Right.
to maintain that relationship and do the introductions and make it a comfortable transition as they move into that stage. You know, retirement planning is up until, you know, the last breath. And caring for yourself for as long as possible and your money allows you to get your best breaths.
Absolutely. Right. Quality of life, least restrictive environment. If they want to be home, right? Are they willing to give up a little bit of freedom
Mm-hmm.
to stay home? Are they willing to let somebody into the house a few hours a day? Or maybe then it graduates to a lot of hours a day, or
Right.
maybe then it graduates into all the time, a living companion. But if they give up a little bit incrementally, they avoid the big change, which would be the nursing home. Or even for somebody who wants to stay home in an assisted living community.
Mhm.
Let's take incremental steps. If they fight it, it's like the family that doesn't want to spend any money. The elderly individual who doesn't want to allow any help finds themselves in a much more restrictive environment like a nursing home a whole lot faster than if they had allowed themselves to be helped a little bit at a time, and they get used to it and it all works well.
Yeah, yes, I've seen it. I've seen it work very well, quite often. The families that have individuals that are against it or skeptical do create some friction that's not necessary, and ultimately you do end up in these situations. And if you go to a nursing home or facility in a flash, you got a good chance of causing a state of depression that you weren't planning on for your loved one. And now, instead of visiting them at home, you feel obligated to go to the nursing home or the facility that they're at and comfort them throughout these days. And you're putting in a lot of time to deal with the resentment that you just created. And you don't want that with your family. I mean, this is where you're supposed to cherish everything to the end. And if there's something left, there's something left. And if you plan right, there probably will be. But most importantly, you want your loved one to spend their money as wisely as possible to get the best possible care, and everyone has a quality of life, and we can just go about being family. It's just like visiting your family doctor at this point. If you just turn a blind eye to it, you're going to get hit, and your comfort's no longer there, and care's no longer primary. It's all about where's it all going.
Absolutely.
And then, I guess once it's all done, I guess you get into that part of probate and guardianship and things like that. I mean, there are a lot of real challenges. You don't know when you're going to be stricken, when this is going to happen, or if you have a special needs child that's, maybe 60, 65 that you've been caring for, and how do you care for them afterwards?
Well, you talk about turning a blind eye to the care, a blind eye to the documents that we started talking about, the will, power of attorney, living will. If you don't have a power of attorney and you don't have a living will, and some problem occurs where you can't speak for yourself, you're going to have a guardian appointed. And a guardian's going to cost probably 10 times, sometimes 20 times more than it would cost to just have drafted the documents initially. Right. And the guardian results in the court deciding who's going to make your decisions for you instead of you doing it for yourself. Same thing for if you have that adult child with disabilities, where they need help and you don't plan properly for them. Well, other people then are going to decide what help they get. They're going to use your money and then decide, instead of you making those decisions, the court will make those decisions, or others will step in and make those decisions, and you avoid that with planning.
That's a lot of stress and aggravation, because odds are it doesn't go the way you'd hoped or wanted.
Very often it doesn't.
And now we're angry.
We are, if we know it all. If we don't know, we're not getting the care we would have wanted, and we have been able to make that decision. Or our loved one, our disabled child, is not getting the care we would have wanted had we taken the time and put our thoughts down on paper.
Right.
So we want to avoid that at all cost.
Yes. So then that way you do have the best of care. I mean, you started planning for this when you were 30 years old. You do your best into your 50s, and then your children's or your trusted advisors help you through it when you get to 60, 70, 80, or 90. I mean, I've talked to a lot of 60-year-olds that are helping their 95-year-old parents.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting older. We're all living so much longer. The new medicines are wonderful, but the new problems with longer living, we're still learning this.
Yes.
So understanding the care and the planning means so much to everybody, from the time you start working to the time you retire and beyond. I really am fascinated by all this, because there's so much that goes into it. You don't want your family lost. You don't want to give your kids that stress that they don't understand.
Yes.
So engaging with Price and Price. How would someone go about contacting you?
Sure.
Or just start, when they're ready to get the first couple of steps out?
Well, if they want to contact us, they can call us on at our office, and that number is 856-429-5522. Again, that's 856-429-5522. They can find a whole lot of information about us as people, who we are that work at the office, And then what we do as an office, how we help our clients, what we do is we advocate for the elderly and the people who care for them. They can find out that information by going to our website, which is www.pricelawpractice.com. So Price, like my last name, lawpractice.com. And it's a nice site, gives a lot of information. We share, we give information away. We do a lot of community events where we talk to families and people that have long-term care issues or questions. So we're always out in the South Jersey community. There's a lot of information on our website, and we're pretty easy to find, and we're very accessible. We want to give our people a great experience when they're dealing with difficult situations.
I appreciate that so much, and it's a family business. I mean, you and your dad have been doing this for how long now? Over 20 years together?
Well, we've been, my father and I have been together over 20 years. I started actually, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Almost 20 years.
Okay.
October of 1996. So we're 19 years and 11 months.
All right.
So we're 1 month away, but it'll be 20 years we've been together. We've been Price and Price since the year 2000, so that's 16 years. And it's just been wonderful working with my father. We don't agree on everything, but that's what keeps the relationship going.
Absolutely.
Because, there's a little conflict and a little bit of, we can debate things. And actually, that's why our practice has done so well, because we're not lockstep. We always look at things from different angles. And now we have other attorneys involved who add to the angles. So we approach problems from multiple perspectives, and it allows us to accomplish the best results for our clients.
Sounds like a very, very powerful team and a great structured group, and that rub, that yin and yang, it means a lot to a good relationship. Any good marriage, any good partnership has to have some differing of opinions. That's how we grow and learn.
It is. It's how you grow and learn. It's how you, like I said, you approach things in a way. It's too easy to lock into certain ideas and think this is the right way to do it. It's only when others look at it and say, how about we try this? Where you start to see it from the other side. And that yields much better results, more holistic approaches to dealing with problems.
A holistic approach is becoming a very popular way of dealing with a lot of these things. I know with dementia and Alzheimer's, we're getting back to doing puzzles and checkers and word finds and things like that. And while that may seem rudimentary, it's just a brain exercise. It's an activity. So it just keeps them engaged. And this is so important to keep the mind as strong as possible for as long as possible.
Absolutely. Well, and taking that and then translating it to what we're doing, by bringing the care manager into the office, we're able to meet both sides, the care needs and the funding of those needs. So again, it's part of that holistic approach. So while we're doing it on caring for ourselves and the puzzles and things like that and our brain activity, we're then trying to accomplish that in the office with merging all these things together into one good solution.
That's terrific. I really appreciate all that. Casey, I can't tell you how informative this was today. I learned an awful lot, and I'm sure everyone that's been listening today has learned a lot. And again, contact Casey if you have any questions or you want to get started with planning, or contact me at homecareassistance.southjersey.com if you want any in-home care or services related to that. I'm Phil D'Angelo, host of Your Best 50, reminding you the best is yet to come. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facials, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.